Hey everyone, welcome back to the Archer and Olive channel. My name's Gracie and I'm from the Archer and Olive Ambassador team. In my video today, I'm going to be showing you how to create a little zine out of your journal pages. Just looking at this little example might seem a little bit complicated, but don't worry, I made a template that you can check out on the Archer and Olive blog on the blog post that is associated with this video. There is a link to the template there. This is such a fun project and it's super versatile. I wanted to make a little zine out of some of my favorite pages from my sketchbook and journal as a way to experiment with adding color to some of my black and white spreads, as well as just creating a really cute thing that you can keep for yourself, put on your desk, give as a gift. I also think this project can be used in lots of different ways. You can make a little book for a child in your life. You could turn it into a little card for somebody's birthday by using pictures of each other. There are so many opportunities with this little project. Of course, for my zine, I was using pages from my junk journal / sketchbook, which is a traveler's notebook from Archer and Olive, but this can also be done by hand drawing all of your pages. For more information on that, you can head over to my blog post because I have a separate template linked if you want to hand draw it yourself instead of printing out sketchbook pages. In this project, I also used the calligraph pens from Archer and Olive. These are some of my favorite markers. Right here I have the Beneath the Willows set as well as the Summer 2025 Night Blooms set. Even though I was printing out pages that I had already made from my junk journal, I also like to add some extra touches on top which really gives it a handmade feel, which is why I decided to add some calligraph pens. So I'm going to send you over to my desk so you can see how I picked out my pages, scanned them into my computer, edited them into a document to print them out, as well as cutting and folding it into the final zine. But before we get started, make sure that you subscribe to the Archer and Olive channel for some more tutorials and inspiration. Okay everyone, so here I'm at my desk, I have my junk journal, and I'm going to pick out the spreads that I'm going to use for my zine. I want to do an all black and white theme. I was flipping through this journal and I realized that I actually have a good number of all black and white pages. Both of these were just kind of like a mindless, fun brain activity thing to do. And I think I have enough to do an 8-page zine with just black and white pages. I'm actually gonna put some sticky notes on them so I can keep the pages. This one. I also have this one, which I really like, which is an illustration of like a character. And I feel like this could be two different pages, but like facing each other. So that one is cute. My idea is to print out just the black and white pages. Oh, I have this one. This is lyrics from a song by Clairo. I think it would be cool to print them out in all black and white and then use some other materials like in real life to add some more color. So I might add some markers or like stickers or tape or something. I feel like that would be a cool way to do like a little mixed media moment. I think I have one more. Oh yeah, I have this cute little cats page. This is kind of what I'm talking about. This I already did add a pop of color, but I feel like it would be cool to print this in black and white and then add the color back in later. It will just give it a really cool depth effect. So I think I have 7. I am going to hand draw a cover page for the zine. So I feel like that's everything that I'm gonna need. I am actually going to do the photo taking method to get these images onto my computer. I recommend scanning them if you have a scanner with like a printer with a scanner in it, because it gets like a more flat image of the book. However, you can tell my junk journal is so thick right now that it doesn't lay flat on the scanner anymore. So it doesn't do a very faithful scan because the page is always really warped. So I'm going to take a picture of these as best as I can and then send those pictures to my computer, and then I will show you me touching them up and cropping them so that they're the right dimensions for my template. So now I have my photos on my computer and I am going to show you how I'm going to edit them. This is not the way that you have to do it. You can edit your photos any way that you like. I'm going to do it in Photoshop because that's what I usually do, but if you want to do it on your phone, you can totally do that. The app that I recommend for editing photos on your phone, especially for like cropping them and stuff like that, is PixArt. I also recommend Prequel. The Adobe Lightroom app is really good on iOS also, but I'm going to be doing it on my computers because that's how I know how to. So I am just going to set up a document. The aspect ratio that you want for this is going to be 9:16, which is the same as like an Instagram story, which is a really common preset on any editing app. So you can just scroll through the ones and it'll say Instagram story or 9:16, or mobile, that is 1080 by 1920 pixels. And I'm going to drag in my photos. So I'm just going to show you how to do one photo, and then I'm just going to repeat them for all the ones that I'm going to include in my thing, and then I'll come back to you when I show how to lay it out in Microsoft Word. So here is my photo, my unedited photo. First, I'm going to crop it so that it sits in the frame nicely. My traveler's notebook, this is like a little bit longer and skinnier than this aspect ratio is, but it's okay because I don't want to have the white borders show anyway. So I am cropping it to be a little bit like there's going to be stuff cut off on all the edges, but that's how I want it to be. Also, if you have a journal that you want like the full page of every single page to show in your zine. It doesn't really matter what size or dimensions the photos are as long as they're all the same. That's all that matters. I'm also going to edit the colors a little bit because it is a black and white photo. So I'm adding a black and white filter to get rid of any like color variation. Then I'm also gonna do a levels filter to make it pure white and pure black. It will take a little bit more work if you're trying to do things with color, but it works really easily for me. Like you can see here, my notebook is obviously dot grid, so there's lots of little smudges and you can see a lot of the dots coming through. If I was gonna make this into like a print or something, then I would edit those out, but I don't really care for the zine. I feel like it actually gives it more of a handmade touch. So that is all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna save this out as a JPEG or a PNG and just make sure that you're saving all of them to be the same size. So these are all gonna be 1080 by 1920. And I'm gonna save them into a folder so they're all sitting there together. So I'm gonna go through and edit the rest of my photos. And once I have all, I think I have 7, I will come back to you to show you what to do next. Okay, so I got all of my photos edited and now I'm gonna show you how to lay it out in Microsoft Word. So you can do this in Google Docs, in Word, whatever, any word processor, it's really easy to do. So I just have a blank document and I'm going to be making this on an 8.5 by 11 piece of printer paper. So this is stuff that you have at home, you don't have to go buy anything for this. I'm going to drop in all of my photos, but the main thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is the template layout for where each of the photos is supposed to go. So on the blog post that is for this video on the Archer and Olive website, I have linked a printable, or you can just view the digital version of the template for this. And I just drew a little like reference one here on a sticky note also. On the template, you'll see that it says which spot on the grid is for which page. So if you want your pages to go in a specific order, pay attention to which one is supposed to be page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, 6, and then the back cover and then the front cover. They kind of go in a circle like that. The other thing that you're gonna wanna make sure you pay attention to is the orientation that it's supposed to go. So each of the rows of photos going like this, they should have the top of the photo touching each other in the middle. So the top of the photo should go down the center spine, and then the bottom of the photo will be on this side. So it'll be laying on its side where the top is facing the middle of the paper. And I will show you how I lay them out. And of course, the thing to keep in mind here is that they all need to be the same size. So once you're importing them into Microsoft Word, Google Docs, whatever you're using, make sure that you resize them so that they are all the exact same height and width. I'm not a big like word processor like whiz, like I'm not really good at Microsoft Word or Excel or anything, but the best thing that I can say if you're trying to work with a bunch of pictures in one of these things is to wrap the image. So if you go to picture format and then click wrap text, you can click square or tight or whatever, and it just makes it a lot easier to manipulate. I don't actually know exactly what that does, but it makes it easier. So I'm gonna turn this one to the side and I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller so that there's space for the other ones to fit on the other side. Okay, so these first two are sitting quite nicely. And so this spot at here in the top left is page 5. So I'm gonna put page 6, which will face it, as the other half of that spread. So it was this other one with the same girl character. I'm gonna wrap this image square as well, resize it, rotate it, and put it right next to the other one. So I'm trying to make sure that these are like flush, that they actually touch, and they are the exact same size. So I'm just gonna move it up a little bit and line it up so that they meet in the middle. This is what I was talking about before. The top of the left column, the top of those images should be facing the middle, and the top of the right column should also be facing the middle the other way. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm gonna leave both the back and front cover blank. I think I'll do a cute little like logo on the back, like maybe I'll draw my logo or write my name on the back or something. And I know I want to do a cover page, so I think I'm gonna leave both of those spots blank on the document. Okay, so if you have two images that you want to use for the front and back cover, they're gonna go in this spot right here and right here. This one is the back cover and this one is the front cover. However, like I said, I am going to keep mine blank so I can draw them by hand. And now this document is ready to print. Okay, I have my little printouts. I have this one, which is the one that I just made, and I also printed out the full template of it. This one I made if you want to hand draw a little zine and then cut it out, because this one takes up the whole page. The other template that you'll see is more like this, where it only takes up a little section of the page. And this is if you want to scan something and then print it out like this and then make it into a zine, because you can't print like all the way to the edges on some printers. I am gonna cut this one out and fold it to show you how to do it, but I will show a second time on this one. It'll be a little bit easier to see on this one. So I will try this one first, and then I'll show you again over here. So for this, I'm just using an X-Acto knife. You can use scissors, you can use whatever you have. I would recommend using a ruler or other straight edge just to make sure that all of your cuts are straight. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim off the excess of the paper. So I am just lining this up with where the very edge of my design lays, and I am going to trim off that paper. I'm also doing this on top of a self-healing mat. I'm gonna do this all the way around, trimming off the top and the side. And once you have yours trimmed down, you can put your ruler to the side for a second and toss away your scrap. And now that you have this, what you're going to want to do is do a couple of folds. So the first thing that we're going to do is fold it in half long ways. Make sure that you have it folded pretty perfectly so that it lines up with all of your image edges. And I am just smoothing this down with my nail. And then you're going to want to fold it one more time in half this way. And then you can unfold those. You're going to want to also fold it so that this half goes to the middle and on the other side. So by doing this, you're basically separating all of these individual pages so you can see the clear lines of where they each lie. The next thing that you're going to need to do is cut just this seam right in the middle. So it's going to be the middle seam in between these two folds. So you can also use a ruler for this. That's what I'm going to do. Be very careful that you're cutting along the line and stopping right at the second fold. There should be a hole right here. Now all you have to do is fold. So the best way that I can describe this is by folding it in half again and then pushing it together. You can pinch all of those seams in the middle together to flatten out the page folds and wrap it all together. And once everything is folded nicely, you can open your book and flip through the pages. So what I am going to do is I'm going to tape the pages together so that they stay on the bottom seams here. You could also glue them. You can do it however you like. I'm going to do it along the bottom seams and probably along this inside seam. But look how cute it is. Oh my gosh. I can show the folding process one more time with the template version. So we're going to do a fold in half first. And then I will fold it again in half this way. You can also do this where you fold it both ways, like back and forth, so that it creases nicely. So I'll unfold it and then fold it backwards this way. Unfold those. Fold the sides towards the middle. And one more time. Unfold. Cut the middle between the two folds. And squish it into a book. On this one, you can see where it says front cover, back cover. That can be your sign to pinch and fold it in half this way. Flatten all of those seams. And there is your book. I love it. Okay, now that I have my little zine all put together, I am going to go in and add my pops of color like I was talking about before. I think for this, I'm going to use some of my Archer and Olive calligraph pens. I have two sets here. This is the Beneath the Willows collection, and this is the Summer and Night Blooms collection. I feel like these have a bunch of really fun colors that I can pick from to do this. I think for my little cat spread, I want to do this like yellowy color, and then we'll see for the rest of them. I feel like for the ballet spread, we can use maybe like this lotus pink color. This is such a fun project because you can make it so many different things. You could make this like a little book for like if you have a little kid in your life, you could write them a little story. It can also be like a really cute birthday card that has multiple pages. Like you could print pictures of you and whoever you're giving it to, or you could draw them like some little illustrated scenes of stuff you've done together. It allows you to mix like photos and like real hand-drawn stuff, which I feel like is such a nice thing for gifts. It's like such a nice homemade touch. For this ballerina spread, I'm gonna use this. This is the Lotus Pink from the Beneath the Willows set. Love this color. It's like the perfect like sugar plum lilac color. Like it's so pretty. This is also just such a fun thing to do like on a weekend because it's the simplest, like quickest craft. I feel like this one needs to have like a really good color. I feel like this one needs to be like maybe this like lime. I feel like this page could probably use 2 pops of color. I could do like one for this like headscarf and one for the sunglasses or the lipstick or something. The calligraph pens are nice also because they have 2 tips. They always have this like more brush tip. I guess they call it the broad tip. And then they also have a fine tip on the other end. The original intent for these is to be for hand lettering, and I do agree that they're perfect for that. They have like the perfect amount of like stiffness in the tip where you can do really nice hand lettering with them, but I feel they're also just fun for experimentation and playing around, which is what I use them a lot for in my journal. I think I'm going to take this one, which is Twilight Rose from Night Blooms, and I'm going to use this as her lipstick, so it's like a dark moody purple color for the lips, which I like. I'm obsessed with the color palette from the summer collection because I feel like it's pretty unconventional for a summer collection because it's very moody and dark and has a lot of jewel tones and stuff, but that is really my vibe, especially right now in life. And then I'm gonna go back to this one and just add a couple of pops of color to this one too. So cute. Okay, so all I have to do now is make my little cover page, and I'm gonna do that off camera, and I will come back to show you my final little zine. Okay, here is my little finished zine. Oh my god, it's so cute. This is my little cover page that I made. This is the little back cover I did. I just have my little @ on there. I think this little cat page is my favorite. It's so cute. I love the little pops of color, and it's so fun. So that is how to make a cute little zine. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I created my little zine. If you do this project, I would love to see your finished zines. If you want to see some more from me, you can follow me on Instagram and on YouTube at Gracie Creates and on TikTok at Groovy Gracie Creates. And I'll see you next time I'm on the A&O channel. Bye bye.